Welcome back to Beyond the Limelight. My name is Vince. I am the founder and CEO of Master Effects. We're a premium special effects manufacturer out of the United States, specifically located in West Chicago, Illinois. We manufacture a variety of products for the entertainment industry. And I've been at this a long time. I think it's going on 12 years now since I started Master Effects. And we're changing things up with Beyond the Limelight for a couple episodes. We're going to be going on a deep dive of the people of Master Effects, and so you get to know us a little bit better. And today I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that you need to be prepared for to be a team leader in the entertainment industry. It's been quite an adventure of starting a special effects company pretty much from nothing. And not everyone's obviously a special effects manufacturer. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are lighting designers, creative directors, production managers. I mean, the entertainment industry is very vast. And this is just kind of a Cliff Notes version of some of the biggest things that I think you need to be prepared for in an industry like this. The first thing I'd like to start with, so I'd like to kind of preface this by giving you a little backstory of Master Effects and how we came to be. It's going to be kind of a Cliff Notes version. So back in 2010, I was about 18 years old, and I was going to college for music at Columbia College in Chicago. I'm a musician, by night, I would say. And I play guitar in a band with my wife. The band's called Little Victory. You should check it out. It's a pretty good band. It's a blues band. But anyway, I was going to school to write music for commercials. I wanted to be like a music composer for film and commercials. And things were going pretty well. But I also had another love, and that was live concerts and haunted attractions. And when I was about 12 years old, I started getting really into Halloween. To the point where I was decorating my parents' front house with anything I could find around the house. And I remember at 13 years old, I got enough money for mowing lawns that I went to Walmart and I bought a fog machine. And it was like a really small fog machine with this skeleton face on the front, so the fog would come out of the mouth of the skeleton. And it was like September, so it really wasn't Halloween yet, but I was in the basement, like fogging up my basement, and it mesmerized. My dad came down, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is amazing. Whatever's going on here is amazing." And ever since then, I was like, special effects are so cool. I'm like, this is great. So from about 12 to 18, I would set up the front of my parents' house for Halloween, and it got really, really big to the point where like they would shut our street down. I had animatronics and air controlled props, and I was on the news, and it was this big ordeal where all I wanted to do was Halloween and play guitar and play music. It was all I wanted to do. So I decided that I was going to leave Columbia College and focus on the haunted house. I'm like, this is like, I'll just do haunted houses for the rest of my life. And I was like, my parents were like, this is the last year you could do it at our house because it's getting way too big. And I'm like, okay, well, my goal is to get like a building, and I'll start some kind of themed attraction, and I'll do this, and I'll do music on the side, and I'll figure out a way to make it work. And back in the day, we used to rent industrial F100 foggers, which if you're familiar, the F100 was like an industry standard fog machine back in the day, from a local company here, Windy City Music, which buys from us to this day, which is kind of funny. But and I would rent these F100s, and we would set them up around the yard. And I remember talking to Nick, who works at Master Effects now, like, man, we need to make our own fog machines. Like this is so outdated, and we need to do something better. And he's like, well, that's not going to happen. That's going to cost a fortune. So long story short, I'm like, well, why don't we start with the fluid? We'll just start making fluid, because we were buying fluid for so much money, and it was like all the donations we would get for the haunted house would go to fog fluid pretty much. So that idea sparked a lot of interest with me, and that's how Master Effects started, was just selling and manufacturing fog fluids. And our first fluid was Code 6 fog, which is we sell to this day. And I sold fog fluid out of the back of a 1993 Buick LeSabre for a year. And I remember going to haunted houses, live entertainment, production facilities, and hiding my vehicle because it was not a nice vehicle and dollying fluid up the ramps to sell. But that's how Master Effects got started. So, but I wasn't prepared for what was going to come, with someone that was never initially went to business school or knew how to lead or anything like that. I was just doing and following my passion. But I think that's a testament to where we are today, because when you follow your passion, you get to do great things. But I think some of these tips will help you, prepare you if you want to start a career in leadership in the entertainment industry, and hopefully they help you. I wrote a list of things. I mean, this is just a casual conversation, so I'm not going to do them in any particular order. I do think that I do have more on here that I'd like to mention at the end, but I think the first one that you need to be prepared for if you want to be a team leader in the entertainment industry, number one, is you have to be nice. And I know that sounds really cliche, but I mean, believe it or not, the entertainment industry is pretty small. It looks big from the outside, but everyone knows everyone in this industry, and you have to be nice to everyone you meet. I'll never forget this moment. I specifically remember this guy named Peter. We had a great conversation about him starting a themed attraction. About a year later, I get a phone call, and by this time, it was about 2 years into the business. It was Peter, and I'm like, I remember you, Peter. And he's like, yeah, I'm starting this themed attraction, and I really need some help. I want someone to design the atmospherics for the entire thing. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I'd be happy to take on this project. And he said, the other vendors I was looking at really weren't giving me the time of day like you were at the trade show. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's really kind of you. Yeah, no problem. And he sends me this plan that is the most professional, upscale haunted attraction plan I have ever seen. And his budget was astronomical. And I never would have expected this, but I look and I open it up, and I needed some special program, which we obviously utilize now, which is a CAD program, to open these files because they were actual architectural drawings of a haunted attraction. All because I was nice that day, a year later, and all because I was just acting myself and being the way, being a kind human being instead of acting like I was, too good to talk to anybody. A year later, we get this amazing account, which boosted Master of Fog sales in year 2. I mean, we were able to get our own facility because of this contract. We were able to expand our inventory, and that was a huge milestone. So I guess at the end of this, with the be nice to prepare yourself, is you never know what big chunk of the next step in your goals are just because you were nice to one person. It's an amazing thing. So be nice. That's obviously a simple one. Next thing you need to do, you need to prepare for the I need it yesterday mentality. Okay? When I first entered this industry, I never would have expected the amount of calls Master Effects gets in dire need of things immediately is probably once a week. Would you say so? Minimum. We need this FedEx in an hour. We're like, oh, okay, we can't do that. But, typically in this industry, it's very fast paced, and people need this equipment or fluids or consumables. No matter what it is, they need it yesterday. We've been in so many scenarios where we need to get something out immediately. You need to be able to do that and be able to lead a team that is willing to help you and get you where you need to be. We had this for when Lady Gaga did her Super Bowl. We worked with a company that needed fluid literally, in 8 hours, and we made it happen. I remember going to the warehouse in slippers and in getting all this fog fluid prepared and waiting on a truck because FedEx has this special service where they can come and pick something up, and they paid more for shipping than the product, but at the end of the day, we saved the day, and that's going to get us to where we need to be. The third thing you have to be prepared for, you have to be prepared for people to slam a door in your face. And what I mean by that is when you're calling someone and trying to get a client, not everyone's going to be interested right away. It takes time for a company and a leader to sell their team or to sell their product. But you need to get back up quickly, and you need to keep chasing it, because you're going to find someone that tells that exact person that slammed the door in your face 5 years ago that's the company they need to go with. And we've learned that a lot. We've learned a lot over the years that sometimes it's not your time. to be, maybe it's not your time to be with that company, or it's not your time to sell to that company, because you still have a lot to learn, and sometimes I think about where we've come. Master FX is now 12 years old, and we're really, really fortunate and blessed to be providing to the biggest shows in the industry. But back in the day, in the first 6 years, we particularly weren't ready to be providing to these shows, because we would have embarrassed ourselves without whether it be enough inventory or enough people and things like that. So always be prepared for that slam. That door's going to slam in your face, but you gotta open up another door and go that way for a little bit, and then I can guarantee if you keep hustling, that door's going to open back for you. So, all right, what else we got? Number 4, you have to be adaptive. We have a lot of creative minds in the entertainment industry that are always throwing different ideas at you. And our job is to be adaptive. How can our company say yes to everything we get, all the requests we get, and keep moving forward? A perfect example was a project we did in Singapore about 5 years ago, where we installed low-lying fog generators that we manufactured underneath these giant bowls that made fog. And the initial call was, can you make fog come out of bowls 24/7? And my initial answer was yes. And in the back of my head, I had no idea what we were going to do. But with that being said, I decided to adapt in that scenario. And if I wouldn't have said yes, it wouldn't have been another building block to Master FX of how we can adapt and integrate systems for other customers. So I encourage everyone here to adapt to whatever they have. If you get a certain job and someone asks you to do something else, adapt to that. Adapt to how you can to help everybody in the organization, because it's just going to help you and give you more education on how you should keep going. All right, and number 5, patience. I think that's a really important one, and something I needed to learn from the beginning, that things don't happen overnight. Building a special effects company out of a 1993 Buick LeSabre doesn't happen overnight. And where you see Master FX today, and where you see all the companies that you admire, you have to remember that they all started somewhere much smaller than they're at, and it all took patience and time. And if you don't have patience, you're just never going to get anywhere. It's never going to work. The other thing is that patience also helps build successful products, people, and customers. I think right out of the gate, when we manufactured our first fog machine, we had the funds and resources to manufacture 4 different machines, but I thought it was the smartest decision to be patient and to roll out one at a time. And that's how you see Master FX do things. We don't rush into things. We take our time. We design the best products we can, and we keep moving forward in every step. And that's ultimately why I think Master FX is so successful, is because we take our time, not only with our products, but with our decisions, with our teammates, and the way that we treat pretty much the whole aspect here as an organization. So as you're venturing into your future entertainment leadership position, think about patience, and think about how you can utilize patience to your advantage. I do have some more here. Should I name a couple more? Yeah. Obviously, innovation, right? Like, we always got to stay innovative. You got to prepare yourself to be innovative. It's overwhelming sometimes, especially for me. Like, you come out with a product that you've worked so hard on. Like, you've spent years developing a product. And in the back of your mind, it's always in the back of my mind, this is going to be obsolete one day. All this work that we just put into it. And, I can vouch for everyone here at Master FX, but every time we come out with a product and we're on the show floor or exhibiting this new product, everyone is talking about the next one. It's just the way we are, so you have to stay innovative and on your feet. If you're part of an organization that's designing or putting on shows, you have to always think about the next show, because that you got to keep moving. So I highly recommend to continue to be innovative and always thinking about the future. You also have to be conscious. You have to be conscious where you're at. Every day when you're in your position and you're doing your job, make sure you're not taking things for granted, I think, is the biggest thing. There's a lot worse out there, and you have to be conscious of everything around you, the teammates that you have. Be conscious of people's feelings and the way that they're feeling. Some people have bad days, and you have to be conscious to that. You have to be conscious to your health and the way that you're feeling on the job. I mean, that's huge, very important for me, like to be feeling my best. So make sure you just sit, if you're at your job, you sit there and you go, how can I be a little bit more conscious right now? Does someone need help on this side of the warehouse or in this part of the office? When's the last time I asked this person how they're feeling or how they're doing? And this is all part of a successful leader and a successful team, is you have to be conscious of everybody around you and make sure people know that you're excited to be there and want to continue the growth of whatever you're doing. So those are just some quick tips. We're going to get a little bit more in depth of the history of Master FX in some future videos and some future podcasts, but I'm really excited to kind of dive into that. I think we all hear too about some of the hurdles that Master FX faced in the beginning, and kind of where Master FX is going as well. Like there's a huge list of exciting things that are coming up in the next year or so that we can't really share right now, but that are in the works. And till the next one, thanks for watching and listening.